While most drivers are spending $50 on premium glass cleaners that promise crystal clear results, Japanese master mechanics have been laughing at the same maintenance lie for decades. Because the truth is, many of those expensive sprays do not actually solve the problem. They create it again and again. They leave behind thin chemical residue, attract fresh contamination, and trap you in a cycle where your windshield never stays truly clear for long. That cycle is not an accident. It is part of a system that turns basic visibility into a recurring expense. The global automotive glass cleaner market is now worth $4.2 billion, and it thrives on one simple reality. Most people have been taught to clean glass the wrong way. They wipe, they buff, they spray again, and they still end up with haze, glare, streaks, and that greasy film that becomes dangerous the moment sunlight or headlights hit the windshield. Then comes the next bottle, then the next pro-grade product, then the next service appointment. Some detailers charge up to $150 for a finish. You can achieve yourself for about 4 cents. But inside what many mechanics call the Japanese vault, there is a different method. A method so cheap, so simple, and so effective that it destroys the illusion that clear visibility must be bought over and over again. This is not just another cleaning trick. It is an optical grade approach, the kind of simple precision logic engineers respect, because it removes the film instead of polishing over it. The result is sharper visibility, less glare, and clarity that lasts far longer than anything sitting in a flashy spray bottle. For years, big companies have buried this kind of practical knowledge under branding, fear, and fake complexity. Because once drivers discover a $1 solution that works better than the premium system, the whole service scam starts to fall apart. And if you are tired of paying for products that turn your safety into a subscription, then you're about to see exactly what they hoped would stay hidden. The secret they don't want discussed isn't some rare chemical or expensive formula. It's something sitting on a pharmacy shelf for about $1. 70% isopropyl alcohol. That's it. And that simplicity is exactly the problem for the industry. Because you can't patent it, you can't brand it as exclusive, and you definitely can't build a billion-dollar system around something anyone can buy for pocket change. So instead, the market shifted toward complex formulas, colorful bottles, and advanced cleaners that sound scientific, but quietly keep the problem coming back. Most commercial glass cleaners rely on ammonia-based compounds. And while they appear to work at first, they trigger a hidden reaction inside your car. Ammonia interacts with interior plastics, dashboards, and trim, releasing microscopic oily vapors. Those vapors settle back onto your glass within days, forming that familiar haze that catches sunlight and blinds you at the worst possible moment. So you clean again, and again. The cycle continues. Isopropyl alcohol works differently. It's a dual-action solvent. It doesn't just wipe the surface, it dissolves contamination at a molecular level. Road grease, insect residue, airborne pollutants, even the invisible plasticizer film that slowly evaporates from your dashboard and coats the inside of your windshield. Alcohol breaks it down completely and then evaporates cleanly, leaving nothing behind. That's why Japanese technicians, particularly in early production environments like Toyota's Nagoya plants, standardized this approach decades ago. Not because it was trendy, but because it worked with precision. The goal wasn't temporary shine, it was optical clarity. When the surface is truly clean, chemically neutral, not just visually wiped, it stops attracting new contamination the same way. The result isn't just a clearer windshield, it's stability. Less glare, less buildup, visibility that lasts weeks instead of days. And once you understand that difference, it becomes obvious why this method was never pushed into the spotlight. Because a $1 solution that breaks the cycle doesn't just clean your glass, it quietly destroys the business model built around keeping it dirty. What makes this $1 method so powerful isn't just that it works, it's where it comes from. Because this isn't a modern hack. It's a piece of practical knowledge with a lineage that stretches back centuries, refined in environments where clarity wasn't cosmetic. It was critical. Long before automotive detailing existed, engineers were already solving the exact same problem: how to achieve perfectly clean, distortion-free glass with zero residue. In 1743, Prussian instrument makers documented that only alcohol-based cleaning could deliver the level of precision required for military rangefinders. Not because it looked better, but because even the smallest film could distort distance calculations. By the late 1800s, the same principle was adopted by the British Royal Navy. Submarine periscopes demanded absolute clarity. A greasy lens didn't just reduce visibility, it compromised missions. Alcohol-based cleaning became standard because it left nothing behind. No streaks, no film, no second chances. Then came World War II. The U.S. Army Air Corps faced a new version of the same issue. Aircraft canopies were constantly exposed to hydraulic mist, airborne contaminants, and plastic outgassing. Exactly the same invisible film that builds up inside your car today. Their solution wasn't a premium cleaner, it was isopropyl alcohol, Official technical orders specified it because it delivered reliable, repeatable clarity under extreme conditions. This wasn't a trend, it was a standard, and in Japan that standard didn't disappear, it evolved. Precision optics manufacturers like Nikon and Canon built their entire reputations on perfect glass. Lens grinding, coating, and finishing demanded absolute control over contamination. Japanese master mechanics inherited that same philosophy, applying optical-grade discipline to automotive surfaces, especially glass. But somewhere along the way, that knowledge stopped reaching the average driver. Not because it stopped working, but because it stopped being profitable. When a $1 method replaces an entire shelf of branded products, when it removes the need for repeat treatments, dealership services, and specialized kits, it becomes something the system has no incentive to promote. So it fades out of manuals, it disappears from recommendations, it gets replaced by complexity, not banned in writing, but buried in practice. And now for the first time in decades, that lineage of clarity is back in your hands. Knowing the secret means nothing if you apply it the wrong way, because the real difference isn't just the liquid, it's the protocol. Japanese master mechanics treat this like a precision process, not a quick wipe. And once you follow it correctly, the results speak for themselves. You only need 3 things: 2 clean microfiber cloths and a bottle of 70% isopropyl alcohol. That 70% concentration is critical. It evaporates slowly enough to actually break down contamination before lifting it away. Higher concentrations flash off too quickly and leave performance on the table. Start by parking in the shade. Direct sunlight accelerates evaporation, which locks contaminants in place and creates streaking. This is where most people fail before they even begin. Next, lightly mist the glass. But here's the step the industry never teaches. Do nothing for 20 seconds. This dwell time is everything. It allows the alcohol to penetrate the invisible road film, dissolve grease, break down insect residue, and neutralize the plasticizer layer coming from your dashboard. Without this step, you're just smearing contamination around. After 20 seconds, take your first microfiber cloth and wipe in slow, overlapping horizontal strokes. No random motions, no rushing. You're lifting contamination, not spreading it. Immediately follow with the second dry cloth. This is your finishing pass. It removes any remaining traces and leaves the surface optically clean. No haze, no streaks, no glare. And then comes the step almost no one does. Wipe your wiper blades with the same alcohol, because even perfectly cleaned glass will be recontaminated instantly by oxidized rubber. This single step is what locks in the clarity and prevents the film from coming back after the first drive. The total cost? About 4 cents. The result? Clearer visibility, less glare at night, and a windshield that stays clean weeks longer than any premium spray system. And once you experience that difference, you start to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about glass. It's about breaking out of a system designed to keep you dependent. There are dozens of these anti-computer methods, simple, low-cost techniques that restore control back to the driver. From extending tire life to protecting your engine, they all follow the same principle. Remove the dependency, and the entire model collapses. So if you're done paying for problems that shouldn't exist, you're already thinking like the 1%.